Hey everybody, this is DM Mike, and this is the next and first big cutscene for Rise of Tiamat. It contains 3 scenes, and it hits 10 minutes and 30 seconds, right? So I'm hoping you can stick with this. I think you'll enjoy it, especially the last 2/3 of this that are just, lots happening. It's a big action piece towards the end there. But this is what happens with cutscenes. As more happens at the table, things get more complex, and you start adding on more to the story, and they kind of take on a life of their own. Now, to my credit, cutscenes have been kind of short for Rise of Tiamat. They've only the longest one I think hit 6 minutes or something like that. When Horde of the Dragon Queen, we had several at 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, because again, towards the end, things got complex. So this is just kind of a natural cause, a natural outcome of all this. But the players really enjoyed it. The 10 minutes went by like that. Everybody said that. I think it was paced really well. It may be different for you because it's not, you're not part of the story, so it may feel a little bit different to you. But I encourage you maybe to watch one scene at a time. But plenty of images up here to help you. But let me quickly break down those scenes so it's just you have a little bit of context. The first scene picks up right after Lucius has rescued his father, has exited Avernus, and 2 Abashi show up. A red and blue Abashi, who are very significant to the story, have suddenly appeared a little too late after the encounter has already happened, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. Scene 2 involves Wrath, and he's kind of engaging some of the dragons right now and getting them to the front lines and whatnot. And there's a moment where the Red Wizards are gathered together, and their main concern is the metallic dragons. They have begun to show up and cause problems. Now, what the heck are we going to do about this? And Wrath is concerned about this too, and understands these metallic dragons are going to be a major thorn in their side, which immediately goes to scene 3, where there's a huge duel between a metallic dragon and a red dragon as they're giving pursuit. And it's just a lot of crazy stuff. It's kind of interesting to write action for dragons and making it impactful and hopefully entertaining. But I think it flows really well. I don't think you're going to have any problems. If you've been following the campaign diaries and cutscenes, then you're not going to have any problem whatsoever. Anyway, guys, let's get into this. This is, I don't remember what the title is. I had it. It's in a Google slide, but I'll put it up as we play it. But here goes. Here's the next cutscene at 10 minutes and 30 seconds in Rise of Tiamat.
The Plains of Avernus. A never-ending melting pot of evil desires and untold eons of visceral hatred and eternal damnation. The charred landscape sizzles and burns from the rivers of slag that stretch across the landscape like neon webbing. A red Abashi lands on the rocky, blistered surface, casting his shadow on a pair of empty black chains, fastened securely to one of the black obsidian stones. The stones bear the scars of electrical damage, still fresh and smoldering, sizzling from a recent encounter. He kneels and examines the shackles, then drops them as he looks over his shoulder at a gleaming statue of pure red glass. This statue, though lifelike in its proportions, was curiously carved to resemble a paladin at the moment of his death. The unusual sight gives the demon pause. Another demon, a blue Abashi, suddenly lands nearby.
A beacon of light was seen from this very spot. I can still feel the presence of this tainted paladin.
He looks over at the red statue, gleaming with wicked reflections.
What is this simulacrum? No demon crafted this hideous effigy. The paladin we seek is long gone. Only this remains, though this is no mere idol. This is the husk of a dark paladin, struck down and cursed, no doubt. Seems our adversaries carry their conflict far from the material plane. Blasphemy. No human walks freely in the plains of Avernus. They could not survive such an ordeal, especially a paladin. And yet, it is so. Blood was spilled here, and something was taken. Foolishness. Whoever they were, their souls are being devoured as we speak, and the soil swallowed their bones. Let us return to the front lines. No, look. Footprints. Way down, leading behind the rocks.
The Abashi follow the prince past the giant obsidian rocks and come to a sudden stop.
It cannot be. A portal? Here. The Red Wizards. Only they could construct such a device. Crafty and cunning is their sorcery. I see now why the cult has aligned itself with the Red Wizards. What now? You will return and tell the consorts that I have found the vestibule. And what of you? Tiamat promised me a way to return, and by human hands it would be crafted. Tell her, named Idrosa, is returning home. May your sword strike true.
Soaring above the Sword Coast, a green dragon glides through the misty clouds, scouting the terrain for potential threats. As his eyes greedily search for their enemies, a distant ethereal voice from miles away connects with the ancient beast, disturbing his thoughts.
My lord, Chort, we are relocating you from the Misty Forest. Make haste to the Citadel. There has been a disturbance, and it will most likely need reinforcements.
There's an army march upon its ramparts.
No, this is merely a precaution. If it is attacked, it will most likely be from a smaller group of infiltrators.
Very well, Red Wizard. As the code commands, I obey. For the glory of the Queen.
From a deep underground stone dwelling, Wrath and several other red wizards stare into a glowing orb.
For the glory.
Wrath breaks the connection, the soft glow fading into an aquatic dim light. One of the red wizards shifts and glances over.
Will this one obey, or will we have another acting from his own will?
We certainly don't need another Linathan. We must be cautious. As long as the mask remain within our power, they will. They know the coming doom, and they will not jeopardize the resurrection of their queen. For in this life or the next, they will pay dearly for it.
What of the metallic dragons? Their presence has begun to cast a shadow.
Wrath leans on his staff, staring into the enchanted globe.
They are a different matter. They will be a problem.
The lizards of the sky clash as scale, talon, and fire erupt in a fury of conflict. The silver dragon, locked around the red behemoth, fights for supremacy as they plummet to the earth at reckless speeds. They separate suddenly and fly through the mountain range at incredible velocity, the silver dragon giving chase. Mountains tremble at their passing as ancient ruins crumble at their fury, lost to time in the frozen wastes of the mountains. The red dragon suddenly swerves, spinning in the sky, and fires off a volley of fireballs at the silver dragon. Only a few make contact, cracking the silver scales and slowing his pursuit, causing the behemoth to slam into a mountainside, causing a tremendous avalanche. The silver dragon quickly recovers, catapulting off the side of the mountain, gaining a burst of speed and closing the gap. The red dragon roars and bellows, speaking in their ancient language. A spell fires off, but shatters across an invisible shield surrounding the silver beast. The dragon smirks and flies above the red leviathan. As the shadow is cast, the red quickly flips upside down to attack, but is suddenly pummeled by an enormous shard of rock from a nearby mountain, held within the grip of the silver dragon, knocking him nearly out of the sky. The silver dragon roars out.
The same will be delivered to your queen, Ophidian. Bring her to me so I may slay you both.
The red serpent reveals a jaw of teeth with a sneer and responds.
Vermin, she will bring you to your knees in all that oppose her will.
From the red worm's left and right, copper dragons emerge from the clouds, then another from below, surrounding the ancient worm from all sides.
Slither back to your lair. The steel talon and the iron hand from both mortal and beast will be the end of your song. Flee! Flee, Red One, to the safety of your courts.
The metallic dragons slow their pursuit as the red worm snarls and advances into the cloud and mist of the sky. The remaining dragons drift and land like giant birds of prey among the mountaintops.
You fight well, Rogar, but you cannot take on such beasts alone. You are growing reckless among your kin. We must be as one, not lone wolves of the sky.
A gold dragon turns to face them.
This holds true, and today is witness to the musing of our brothers. Talon alone cannot stop the coming darkness. I believe it is time to unify flesh and scale.
Rogar, you have known the ones of the land. What say you?
The silver beast lowers his head, his mind flooded with old memories and pain, aches and longings that he thought were dormant, but suddenly burst to life the moment they are touched.
They can be trusted. They can be useful. It is time for conclave, for without them, even we may burn. Then let it stand. You shall be the envoy. Return to the land in the form of your choosing. But guard your heart, young one. We all know the depths and temptations. Do not be swayed by inner turmoil.
Let us give haste. The path is set. Go. We await your arrival.
The great beasts, one by one, take flight and disappear across the horizon. Rogar, the silver dragon, lowers his head and stares off into the direction of Waterdeep. He seems to hesitate, but with a sudden burst of pride, raises his chest, spreads his wings, and takes flight. For the world was at stake, and the seduction of the past would be buried once more. There was no time for the desires of the heart, only war.
So there you go, guys. 10 minutes, 30 seconds. If you stuck with it, thank you very much. I appreciate it. But this actually captured a lot of stuff that was happening at our table with more things to come. An effective cutscene, in my opinion, addresses things that are happening, but also foreshadows things to come. So there's a lot of things set up here, and locations that are going to be very important very soon. And it also even incorporated a lot of background from some of our players. I'm not sure if they picked up on it, but a lot of stuff is there. So I don't know if the next cutscene is going to be 10 minutes long, but I know there's a doozy coming up that I've been working on for a very long time that involves a major player that I think will probably hit around 10 minutes long, but I think it's going to be worth it. I think it's going to be worth it. Anyway, guys, that's it. That's all I got for you. I'm going to release you now, finally. But more to come as this story unfolds and comes to its conclusion. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one.